created the foundations for contemporary mathematics. Okay? He also created the foundation for contemporary scientism. None of this was intentional at all. Purely dogmatic scientism, as we know today, had a humble beginning with him. Many philosophers back during Bertrand Russell's time believed that numbers were synthetic statements. Synthetic statements, okay? So what is a synthetic statement? Well, the definition's in the next sentence. An analytical statement was that which was true by definition, okay? What's a true statement by definition? Anybody know? Can you tell me? Anybody know what a tautology is? Okay, a bachelor is a single person, right? Is that true? By definition?
Yes.
Okay, that's analytical statement. It doesn't need anything else to determine its truth value, all right? What's a synthetic statement? A synthetic statement was one which required verification external to the subject matter. Okay, the grass is green. That's a synthetic statement because I have to verify whether the grass is actually green. Of course, we know grass is green, but you know what I mean. But it's contingent, meaning it needs to be based on some form of experience. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. One is true by definition. One is true by experience. That's it. So there were philosophers back then that believed that numbers were true based on experience. Okay? So the way they proved it, Kant was the first one to kind of say this. Immanuel Kant, I don't mention him in this, but he was a German philosopher. He said, the reason that it's experiential is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus 2. 1, 2 equals 7. That was it. It's intuitive. Okay? So they argued that because each individual aspect of every mathematical formula could not be reduced to the sum of the whole or outside experiences, given the immensity of the calculations and questions, they had to be synthetic. In other words, each individual number was an actual thing, understood and practiced intuitively, floating somewhere in some ideal realm. So they actually believed numbers existed as objects, as real existing things out there in some unknown realm, wherever you want to call it. Bertrand Russell, who did not like this idea of numbers being like that, would find the solution to the problem of classical mathematics being claimed as synthetic by proving that it could be ultimately reduced to logical axioms. Math is reducible to logic. We know that today. Actually, it's a very common knowledge, especially if you're a computer programmer. You should know that. Okay? Math is basically just symbols. When we say 1, what we're indicating, okay, I have one finger. But 1 itself there's no such thing as 1. It's just, it has to be 1 something, you know. So the number 1 doesn't exist. It's just a symbol, just like a letter or a word doesn't exist. Like if I say human beings exist, but the word itself doesn't just like pop into existence and like start walking around or something. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm trying to say, right? Excuse me. For it was in fact analytic. In other words, he would prove that it was merely a symbolic relationship. In the same way, by doing this, by destroying these philosophers' argument, okay, that numbers were actual things, he also brought into question other views, such as supernatural ones, the idea of God. Okay? Because now that there was no realm where there were numbers, maybe other things too that they say might not also exist. Maybe those are also symbolic of something else. So he started a trend, which, can we go please, next? That was continued by this man, Ludwig Wittgenstein, which is probably the most, and I say this just out of humor, but he was probably the most eccentric and arrogant human being that you'll ever meet in your life. And I'll tell you why. He wrote about, I'd say 30 pages of notes when he read Bertrand Russell's work, Principia Mathematica, okay? And by the time he was done, he believed he had solved all the problems of philosophy. He literally believed that. And he gave up philosophy and became a grammar teacher as a result of that. He never liked arguments. If anybody disagreed with him, he would become very angry and call them stupid and walk away. If anybody disagreed with him at all, he would just consider them lower than him. And he tried to get his work published, so he sent it to Bertrand Russell. It was called the Tractatus. He sent it to Bertrand Russell, and Bertrand Russell didn't want to publish it. He thought it was very mixed. It made a lot of very direct, or say absolute statements, like a religious text, you know? And he said, I can't publish this. This is not really philosophy. So eventually, though, Wittgenstein did convince him, and he got his PhD from Cambridge, I believe it was Cambridge University, for his work. And what he basically resolved was not only Bertrand Russell, he further advanced Bertrand Russell to the point where he came up with this. The right method of philosophy would be this, to say nothing except what can be said. And before I go on, I want to say this as well. He believed that all statements were analytical. All of them. Unless they can be empirically verified. Okay? This is the propositions of natural science, something that has nothing to do with philosophy. And then always, when someone else wishes to say something metaphysical, meaning non-observable, something outside of physics, metaphysics, meta means what? Beyond. Who said beyond? Who said beyond? You said beyond? Oh, you study Greek? Okay, that's good. Means beyond. Metaphysics means beyond physics. Okay, when somebody says something beyond physical observation, to demonstrate to him that he had given no meaning to certain signs in his propositions, meaning you didn't say, what he said is that if you tell me something like God exists, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, that doesn't have any meaning. There's no meaning there. You need to show me. Then it has meaning. Okay? In other words, any statement lacking any observable evidence based in science should be rendered as meaningless because statements can only have meaning if they actually point to something in reality. Okay? Statements are only analytic and without content otherwise. Please continue. We then get to A.J. Ayer, Willard Quine, continue, and Thomas Kuhn. Now the reason I put all these three, keep going, stay. Okay. I put all these three together is because this begins the end of this belief system. These three are the beginning of the end. A.J. Ayer, died in 1989, was another English philosopher. We'll switch slides in a second here, but not yet. He was in agreement with Ludwig Wittgenstein, okay? And he was part of the group called the Logical Positivist. Can we continue? Okay, boom, boom, next. There we go. All right. No, that's not it. Go back. No, that's too far. Go back one more time. What happened? That's it? No, there should be another one. Go back. There's no text? No. Is it the right file? I could have sworn there was text. Okay. This is not good. All right.
Put it there.
Huh?
You need to put it to the right.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do this the old school way. Sorry. I'm still young, don't worry. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is fun. Lovely. All right, can everyone see this board? Okay, A.J. Ayer had stated the following as Ludwig Wittgenstein. He said that any statement, okay, no statement could be verified unless by what? Empirical observation. He said no statement had any meaning unless it could be empirically verified. I'm going to put that statement on the board. Actually, can somebody write for me? I'm very bad at handwriting. Anybody would like to write for me? Please? Okay, thank you so much. I'll do the rest after that. So no statement has meaning. No statement has meaning, once again, unless it can be empirically verified, meaning observed in reality. Is that correct?
Statement has meaning what?
No statement has meaning unless it can be empirically verified. Okay, verified is fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Hey, can you do it?
No, it's okay, I'll do it. So, There we go. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Unless it can be empirically verified, so we'll say verified here is empirically as well, okay? So he stated this opinion. Now, he was eventually, before his career ended and he passed away, he was often made fun of because he was the last person to still believe this statement. There was actually a large following of people who believed this. They were called the logical positivists, okay? And their group ended around the 60s and 70s, officially speaking, okay? And A.J. Ayer continued this, but the problem is that he was trying to convince everyone that there was not a problem with the statement. His whole career rested on that. Because somebody had pointed out, very convincingly, that this statement makes no sense. Why? Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this statement? Can anybody? Just think about it. Please.
We can't emphasize everything. So we should have like positivism and